This is America, a map we rarely see like this. No borders, no state lines, no names, just mountains, rivers, oceans, and the geography that changed history forever. Because long before America became a superpower, before the cities, before the highways, before the flags, this land was already shaping the future. The mountains decided where people could move, the rivers decided where cities could rise, and the oceans decided who could reach this continent and who could not. To most people, a map is just lines and borders, but to empires, geography is destiny, and America may be the greatest example of that in human history. If you think America is a flat land, then you should look at the Rocky Mountains. They stretch across a large part of the country, covering almost 30% of the land. But this is not easy land to live on. The mountains are high, the weather is cold, and the land is very rough. That's why very few people live here. Population in these areas is very low compared to the rest of the country. Because here, nature makes the decision. Where people can live and where they cannot. But as we move away from the mountains, the land begins to change. The middle of America opens into vast, flat plains. Here, there are no high walls or deep barriers. The land stretches far, in every direction. This is where large-scale farming becomes possible. Huge fields of crops spread across the ground, feeding not just the country, but much of the world. Because when the land is open and flat, movement becomes easier and growth becomes faster. Cities and towns appear more often here, connected by roads, railways, and open space. So while the mountains limit where people can live, the plains create space for them to expand. And together, they form a balance, a country shaped by both restriction and opportunity. As we move further, the land begins to change again. Now we reach the eastern side of America. Here, the landscape is more connected and more crowded. Rivers, roads, and rail lines bring everything closer together. This is where some of the oldest and largest cities are found. Cities like New York, Washington, and Boston grew here, close to the coast and connected to the world. Because access matters, to trade, to travel, and to grow. And that is why this region became one of the most important centers of population and activity. So while the mountains create barriers and the plains create space, the East Coast creates connection, and this connection changes everything. Now, when we step back and look at the full map of America, everything starts to connect. Mountains in the west, open plains in the center, and connected cities in the east. Each part has its own role. Some areas are difficult to live in, some are wide and open, and some are closely connected to the world. But together, they form one system. A system shaped not only by people, but first by geography. Because before roads, before cities, before borders, the land itself decided the structure. So when we see America on a map, we are not just seeing a country. We are seeing how nature and human life are connected.